Welcome to another series of BK Play, and this is Freedom Planet, the game that started life as a Sonic fan game and then turned into something very different. That's a story that's all too familiar these days. There's a lot of them. Remember Spark the Electric Jester? And now there's a more recent one called, I believe, Rolling Rascal, which was made by the Sonic GT guys. Yeah, a lot of games like that. And I mean, it makes sense. Every project starts out as paying homage to some other project, just like with all of my music. But anyway, this is, it's a 2D platformer style, fashioned after Sonic, of course, but it takes inspiration from a lot of other franchises. And we're going to start, as you can see, I have my old file here on normal mode to prove that I'm not a wuss. But you know what I'm going to do for this series? Because I've been playing this file, and holy shit, the game can get a little bit, what's that word I'm looking for? It's a little bit difficult, and by difficult, I sometimes mean unjustifiably so. I have my problems with the way the game works. That's okay, though. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to load up a new save file and switch over to playable. No, okay. It's just because I want this playthrough to be nice and smooth. There's literally no consequence for failure in this game. I've gotten like 2 game overs here, and you literally respawn at the last checkpoint. So may as well just completely get rid of that blow and just make it so we can flow through this nicely. I can talk about the way the game works. And we're going to play in classic mode. Why? Because honestly, I cannot stand the way this game presents its cutscenes. And it's not even like it's bad. I'll get into that later, but it just makes me feel really weird and I don't like it. So I think I was actually planning on doing a vivid noise of this game. That never happened. But hey, now we're going to do this, a whole playthrough of it. So we're going to go in classic mode where it's just level by level, as it should be for a classic 2D Sonic style platformer game. Here we go. And we're in the first stage, Dragon Valley, which is appropriate because I picked Lilac, the main character of sorts, who is apparently she's a dragon. She doesn't really look like one, but that's okay. And so, what are my impressions of this game as a whole? Other than it's like Sonic, so I like. Well, actually, I'm not a die-hard classic 2D Sonic fanboy. I fucking love the modern style boost shit and adventure as well. You know, because I kind of sort of, Sonic Heroes was, you know, my first ever 3D platformer, 3D game that wasn't a racing game. You know, so my first real 3D game, if you think about it. Because racing games, like, yeah, no shit, they're going to be in 3D. I mean, there are top-down 2D racing games, whatever, but the point is, there's a lot of nostalgia there, but I still think it holds up quite well. But anyway, with these kind of games, I'm a little more critical. It's like I will genuinely, if I don't like it, I'll say so. And not that I wouldn't say that for anything else, because that would be kind of shallow. It's like, I mean, Sonic and the Secret Rings is technically a modern Sonic game, but yeah, sure as hell you ain't gonna see me praising that one, other than the visuals and the sound, of course. But I mean, come on, like, what do you expect? But either way, yeah, what is this game like? Well, as you can clearly tell, it's got that classic Sonic style, except it has a lot of way more sprite rotation. Looks really strange, probably because I think this game was built on the Sonic Worlds engine. You know Sonic Worlds, the same engine that powers fan games such as the Sonic Before and After the sequel, stuff like that? I think that's why it has so much rotation. It's clearly a heavily modified version of it, but still, I think that's what it is. I'd have to look it up, I'm not entirely sure, but I just get such Sonic Worlds vibes, or was it World? Singular, or was that the fan game? Because there's this 3D Sonic fan game called Sonic, whatever. Art direction, absolutely stunning. This game is beautiful to look at. The music, I think it's sound, it's well done, but there are times when I feel like it's trying a little too hard to be, this game tries really hard to be like anime Japanese, you know what I mean? And I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Like half the fucking chord progressions are like 4, 5, 3, 6, you know, like the chord progressions that you hear in every anime intro before it goes into jazz bullshit, which makes me want to throw my guitar out the window. Yeah, that kind of thing. Even here you can kind of hear it, but yeah, no, otherwise it's pretty solid. You know, the main theme is quite memorable. And fun fact, this game's main track was the inspiration behind the Vivid Noise theme song. If you remember my series Vivid Noise that I did at the start of last year, because this is going up like 25 most likely, yeah. It basically started as me going, hey, what if I write a Freedom Planet song? What if I do that? And it just became the Vivid Noise theme. I just really liked it, so I did that. Yeah, so what's different about this? Also, if you can't tell, my health does regenerate, and that is because I'm on casual mode, and that is probably the reason why I'm using it most. The fact that it doesn't really change the level design or anything. See, for example, for Mega Man 11, I refrained from using the easiest bottom-of-the-barrel difficulty because it genuinely changed the levels. It added all these extra platforms and just made it you know, it kind of dumbed it down. Here, it's just a nice layer of, like, a buffer of just kind of like, you don't have to try quite as hard because you're commentating and stuff like that, and it can be kind of bullshitty. It makes the game feel more modern, too, because it's very common to, you know, and it's not even, like, that much of a modern thing. I was just playing Max Payne, and that game came out in 2001, and when you're, like, super low health, the game will regen you a little bit, you know? Not fully, but still, even games from way back when would have partial health regen like that, so I don't see it as that much of a modern luxury. No, it's just sound design, so, I'm not saying it should regen your health all the way up like it is right now, but I mean, I don't think there's an option for... Actually, you know what? Maybe easy mode does that. But hey, I've already started the file. I can't be fucked to go back and... To be fair, though, I can actually just start the next part of the series on easy mode because you can change your difficulty halfway, like, at any point, which is really great, by the way. Can like, every game ever made do that now? Can we go back in time and retroactively make it so every game that has a difficulty slider allow you to just change it whenever? Because that is fantastic. There's nothing worse than, like, trying out a game on, let's say, a really easy difficulty and realizing, fuck, this is too easy. I want to make it harder, but I gotta play for half the game again. Or, fuck, this is too hard. I want to go back and make it easy, but I want to play the game again. You know what I mean? It's a little bit inconvenient, but yeah, this game gets it right. So, as you can see right here, I have this little double jump, which is going to be my main source of attack, similar to Sonic, of course. Jumping is basically your best way of attacking, along with, just like Sonic, you're going to sense a running theme here, boosting. That right there, that's basically the boost. It's the boost, essentially. And it does quite a bit of damage to bosses and basically any enemy encounter, actually. In fact, one thing this game does, which I think of the mainline Sonic games, at least only Unleashed does, I'm not sure about Frontiers, though, it's that it doesn't do damage upon contact. You actually have to be attacked by an attack. You know what I mean? It can't just be, oh, you hit the guy, you're dead now. No, they have to attack you with an animation of some kind. That's very nice. Oh god, it's a classic Sonic moment. This game actually reminds me more of Sonic Advance than anything else. But other than the obvious platformers things that you can do, you also have, let me show it off real quick. You have, like, genuine attack moves, like it's a fighting game, like drop kicks and shit like that. It's a little bit, I don't know how I feel about the way that it works, but I can't really say that I use them super often. You know, it's neat that they're there, and I believe that the second character you can play as, that biker chick, she actually has more of an emphasis on combat. I think so. She also has, like, a bike, so she's like Shadow the Hedgehog, of course. And there's also the third one, who's basically Cream the Rabbit, except, like, she can create blocks and stuff. I don't know. I just play as Lilac because she's, like, the coolest one, obviously. Levels in this game also tend to go on for quite some time. We're not going to be clearing whole, like, series of stages in each episode. In fact, I think we're technically still on the first level. I mean, look at the timer, 6 minutes. No standard platformer level goes on for that long, so at least not the first one. So clearly we're still on the first level, and that's just how long it is, you know? They're just divided into several segments with, like, a final end boss. So I'm assuming for this part, as per usual, I might be able to get through 2 zones, or 2 areas, and then I'll call it a part. But for the rest, it's probably going to have to just be 1, because they go on for quite some time. Hey, look, it's Super Mario Bros. 2. That's not how it goes. Well, that is kind of how it goes. But, yeah, so why am I skipping the cutscenes? Why am I going to be playing this game in classic mode? Well, 1, because it's a classic style 2D platformer. I don't give a shit about the story. 2, the game actually does a good enough job creating a narrative using just the gameplay. Like, you can instantly recognize the villains and, at least to some extent, your goals. Like, you don't feel like you're just running through levels with no context. There are these brief exchanges between characters even in classic mode, so I think that's totally fine. That's just enough. And also, and it's going to be super personal, but I don't like watching the cutscenes in this game. I don't even like hearing this character speak whenever she does an attack. When she says Cyclone or whatever, when you're idling, and she's like, do you want to get a bad time? I don't know what it is. I don't think it's the quality of the voice acting. The voice acting is totally fine. It's well recorded, decently directed. The people all did a good job. It's more of a matter of context. I feel just off every time I see these 32-bit era, you know, sprites produce the sounds of a living human without a text box, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind it too much with something like, for example, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but that's because that game is just so different stylistically. Like when I see fucking Dracula going like, "What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets." And I'm like, okay, that shit's funny as hell, first of all. And second, it just makes more sense to me. But in a game like this, it's like, imagining these characters speaking, it just feels really cringe and weird, and I don't like it at all. Not to mention this game's tone is all over the fucking place. Like, there's torture scenes in this shit. Like, what the fuck? And not that I don't mind a little bit of edge, you know, I mean, I made a whole fucking hour-and-a-half long video defending Shadow the Hedgehog, although that was mainly on the game's actual merits as a video game and not because of the edge. I couldn't really care about that. But I don't know, it's just the tone of this game just doesn't work for me. I would much rather just play it as a straightforward linear platform. And seriously, until the last second, right before I hit record, I was thinking of actually showing the cutscenes, but I'm like, look, man, it's the internet. You can just look up the fucking cutscenes if you want to, and chances are, like, I know that when I watch a Let's Play, I always skip the fucking cutscenes in whatever game it is, unless it's, like, exceptionally well written, you know, or it's, like, really funny or something. Like, there's just great reason for you to enjoy the cutscenes. I don't enjoy the cutscenes. No disrespect to the animators, well, there's not that much animation per se. They're not like proper fully animated. They're, you know, characters talking, but still, no disrespect to the voice actors, the directors, the what. To be fair, you think a game of this caliber, as in like of this budget level, you know, actually had vocal direction, or did they just sent the lines over like a text document and were like, all right, read this? I mean, I'm sure there was some level of directing. I don't know. Are we done with this area, or are we... Oh, stage complete. Yeah, we're definitely doing one more stage, because that was quite... 9 minutes. Okay, that wasn't short, necessarily, but, you know, it would have been short for, I guess, like, it'd be short for a part, that's for sure. I sure as hell am not ending the part right now. Let's keep going. Relic Maze, Stage 2. I keep wanting to say Act 2, but no, this is a totally different area. Although, I gotta give this game credit, though. The levels flow together very, very well thematically. Like, I feel like this is just an extension of the last stage, while not feeling like just an Act 2. It kind of does feel like an Act 2, but in the good sort of way. Like a Sonic-free Act 2, rather than a, maybe... What else? Like a Sonic 1 or 2 Act 2, or even a Sonic CD Act 2. You get what I mean? Like, it's different, but you can still trace, like, where you've been. So this just feels like a natural progression from the last stage. Now, the level after this one's going to become very different, though. I've played this game quite a bit. I mean, I've completed this game already. Of course, it was on casual mode. My first time ever playing the game on normal was that file that I just showed you earlier in the file select screen, and it's just not worth it. All that would happen is I would show maybe the first 2 minutes of footage of a particularly difficult boss, then it would cut to black, or it would just crossfade to me finally being fucking done with the bastard, you know, where I would probably only catch like the last 5 seconds of the fight, because I would have to be 100% confident that I'm done with the fight, so I'd hit record, because why would I record pointless I never understood people who like record everything. You know, people who, when they do a review of a game, not even a Let's Play, just a review of a game, they go ahead and record their entire playthrough from start to finish. Like, what the fuck? I mean, okay, I got the hard drive space to spare too, but I just don't get, also that was transparent because I've already collected it. But really? I get when you're doing a Let's Play, because no shit, even though I'm also very selective when it comes to that, but if you're doing just a review, you already know what you're going to show, right? That's what I used to do when I used to do reviews, right? Where I would simply, okay, I know I want to show this level, this level, this level, these few bosses, these menus, and then I just record nothing else but that. That's just all I need. You know, what else could I possibly need for the video? Either way, yeah, this is, I can actually showcase exactly what I was talking about when it comes to the damage mechanics in this game. Look at this. So I'm going to, wait, let me try and find an enemy that is. Come on, dash forward. I keep forgetting where I'm supposed to go at this point. Even though it's really not that, of course, you hit the switch, and then sometimes the game will give you these big yellow arrows to kind of guide you along. But yeah, beautiful animation on the environments as well, and all the collectibles. Everything has a nice shine to it. So let's see if we can find an enemy and showcase what I was talking about. See, there's the arrows. Well, not those ones, but... oh, okay, no, see, that was just more traditional. I also thought that you could knock this thing down and damage him. It doesn't work, look. Oh, fuck, it does! I must have just done it at the wrong angle or something. I must have, like, fucked it up, because, like, that actually did work. Oh, man, I must have been, like, slightly off or something last time, because that worked. Last time I spent, like, a couple minutes on that guy. This time I just fucking destroyed him instantly. That's clever. Very good design. Thank you very much, game. But yeah, this is an excellently well-made game. I just don't agree with some of its decisions when it comes to the difficulty, but maybe I just have to get good. I don't know, to be honest. I've kind of stopped giving a shit about getting good ever since I started the series, because I realized you don't have to get good to do a compelling series. Like, some of my favorite content creators of people who make Let's Plays are absolutely fucking abysmal at the games that they play, and they admit it, and yet their shit is still super entertaining. So I firmly believe that's not really a huge factor, right? It depends on the kind that you're doing, because there are playthroughs that hinge on the fact that the guy playing it is like super good at it. Like Clement, right? He's a classic example of that from that classic era, because he's stupid good at basically every game he plays, right? Probably because he practices a lot. I have practiced this game a little bit, but again, I'm playing on casual difficulty for a reason. But yeah, let me show you something. Let's see if we can find a real enemy, not that drill dude. He doesn't really count. Actually, I think I'm going the wrong way. But yeah, okay, look at this drill dude, right? So if I just walk in front of him, see, I didn't take damage at all. Now I do have okay, the bat guy. See? He can't hit me. I would have to, hold on. There you go, see? That's nice. That's a nice change of pace compared to the usual touch damage system of most platformers. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing to do it that way. No, I mean, it's a classic system, especially if your game doesn't have elaborate combat mechanics like this. Well, I can't call them elaborate. I can't say that this game has, like, oh man, it's fucking Street Fighter, but also a platformer. Well, it's not. And I've actually, you know, I've never been the biggest fan of Street Fighter. Even today, like, when I was a kid, I liked Mortal Kombat because it had blood and stuff. Then as I got older, I actually started to prefer Tekken. I never really liked Street Fighter that much, you know? I think Tekken's probably my favorite. Never really got into Soul Calibur either, or Killer Instinct. I don't like most fighting games just because I like a game that takes me somewhere. I don't really care for games where you're just kind of sitting in an arena fighting, although those can also take you places, to be fair. You can have plenty of interesting and diverse environments in a fighting game with the arena designs. Lots of games do that very well, in fact. In fact, this is going to sound super weird, but I watched a couple Dead or Alive videos, and haha, we all know why we play Dead or Alive, am I right, boys? But really, those games actually have some pretty nice looking environments, too. Well, most of them. Dead or Alive 5, they were a little bit drab there, but at least on, what was it, the PS3 version, I think? Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, the PS3 had infamously shoddy ports. You know, really, when it comes to the 7th generation, the 360 was where it was at. Like, the 360 was the 7th gen system. Not in terms of sales, that was the Wii, obviously. Ooh, cutscene of, like, an actual, not a real cutscene, but still, oh, you fucker! Get back here! I'm talking over the actual voice acting because it makes me feel weird. Oh, wait, this is a continuation of the stage. See, I told you, the levels have a very nice set of narrative to them, regardless of the lack of actual full-on cutscenes. You know, like, sit down and listen to the characters talk. We don't need that. We can just have cool action. It's pantomimed out like that. It's great, you know? And yeah, as I was saying, your best attack is really going to be this thing, the boost. That does a ton of damage, and also your cyclone jump, right? You don't really want to be using the actual combat mechanics too much, because they're not that effective. There you go, he's gone. That was actually quite simple. And is this the end of the level, or are we still going? I think this is the end, but it's going to be the end of the part, most likely, because we've been recording for quite some time. Boom, he's destroyed. And do we get off? We do. Alright, let's go. There's no music. It feels weird. Everything's all quiet. Actually, no, wait, this level goes on for quite some time. What am I talking about? This is not the end of the part. I just remembered there's this... Yep, this transition and this beautiful underground cavern. Ooh, wait a second. Can we do a little bit of a... no, I want to get up there. I know that there's something up there. Oh, sprite rotation. That looks weird. I fucking knew it. There's something up here. Wait, I can guarantee you there's something up here, right? Yeah, I got that thing. I don't even know what those are for. No, they're for extra music tracks and maybe some concept art, potentially. I mean, this is a game, you know, released in 2014. They don't actually have to adhere to pixel art visuals. They can just, you know... Actually, I've always wondered, when it comes to modern pixel art games that clearly are not actually being played, or at least made with a low resolution in mind. This is a HD game, but it has pixel art. I've always wondered, could they theoretically mix resolutions? Like, right now, could the developers just plop in a 4K image right then and there? You know, inside of this gameplay? Or is it genuinely scaling the visuals in a way? Like, it's rendering them at, like, you know, 240p, but then you know, a nearest neighbor, scaling them up to 1080p or 720 or whatever. It always made me curious because I have no idea, to be honest. Like with a 3D game, it's obvious how it works, and even with a high resolution 2D game, that's obvious as well. But here it's like, you know, because look at the way the sprites rotate. See, if you've ever done anything in Photoshop, you'll know that if you have a very high resolution, like if you have a low resolution image that you didn't scale with nearest neighbor to a high resolution and then rotate it, this right here, what's happening, wouldn't happen. It would just scale in a completely normal way. It's as if I were to take Lilac's sprite sheet from the game and then blow it up, and then, you know, and then rotate it, like in Sony Vegas or something, right? Or even in Photoshop. It would look completely natural. There wouldn't be any of that distortion. Extra life real quick, there you go, even though lives are completely pointless, not just because I'm on casual difficulty, but because they literally are. Like, you respawn in the exact same area even if you get a game over, as I found out a couple minutes ago. So, we're going to keep moving through the stage, and my god, I do love the aesthetic. Again, the music, I can take or leave, honestly. I think some of it's just a little corny. Or at least for my taste. I know a lot of people will just consider it, oh, awesome, anime-like music. That's the thing. When I hear the kind of, like, the chords, the melodies that they use for this, that just screams like we're trying to make this an anime game. And it's not. This is a very American-feeling title. Or actually, no, it feels more European than anything else. I kind of get some Jazz Jackrabbit vibes from this. And if you don't know, Jazz Jackrabbit was made by Cliff Bleszinski, you know, from the fucking Netherlands. So, actually, wait, was he solely responsible for that game? Or was he just a part of the project? I don't remember. I don't know, but we all know him as the Gears of War guy now, even though I know him as the Unreal guy. Even though, actually, no, it wasn't his idea solely. He was a he was a contributor to the series and a lot of the map designs and stuff, but it wasn't just him, right? A lot of different people deserve the credit for that incredible series, which unfortunately is gone, basically. It's just nothing. Nothing is left of Unreal, but hey, it's free real estate. Plus, nothing's gonna stop the fucking modding community. Yeah, we got fruit. And, yeah. You gotta push this little thing right here. See, I don't like those sounds that she makes. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a weird, my personal view of how things work, and I just don't like it. It's because I feel like every time I hear this kind of voice acting from a game with these kind of visuals, the internet has corrupted my mind. I feel like something really fucked up is gonna happen. And I can't shake that. You know how like some people say that, oh wow, the voice acting sounds like something out of a bad porno? That's like the video game equivalent to this. I feel like I'm about to start watching like an animation on like one of those sites that I don't even fucking know like what you would even name. Honestly, I don't know what those sites are called. It's weird, like, I'm 23 and I'm still so innocent to that. It's like, cause I don't fucking know, I just want to play my video games, damn it. But I do get that sense, because other people reference it in that way, and so I just kind of feel like, oh, it's collective culture, because it is collective culture, right? Even fucking Mormon, I'm sure, are aware of that, right? Why do I say it that way? It's like it's taboo or something. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to play my video game, just kind of run through, and oh, don't get fucking yeeted by the spikes. Did I just say that out loud? Don't get killed by the spikes, alright? Because I don't know if they're instant kill, but I imagine they probably wouldn't be a good idea to get caught by them because you don't get crushed. And it's getting crushed instant kill in this game? I actually don't know. I've never tried it. So either way, look at the parallax. It's so fucking pretty. Oh. Hey, that reminds me of Sonic Free when fucking the Egg Robo stole the Master Emerald, right? This boss is really cool. A lot of the bosses in this game have fantastic animation, very much like made up of chunks, right? Again, just like Mischief Makers, I feel like that game really popularized that segmented style of character animation that is also very, what was that game called? It wasn't called Intrusion. Oh, damn, what was it called? Nerdcube did a video on it and its sequel. It was like this Flash game. Was it an Insertion? It's like this, basically, it's a little bit like a combination of a little bit of Contra, a little bit of Metal Slug, really, really well animated bosses just like this that are also made up of parts like this, so they move very dynamically. And you can aim with the mouse, though, and you can't rapid fire, you know? I mean, no, you can't rapid fire, as in you're limited to how quickly you can shoot, no matter how fast you hit the mouse, to make it more balanced, you know, because otherwise your weapon would just be, you could just fucking install a macro on your PC and just make it broken, right? Or even just use auto hotkey or something like that, which, you know, it's not even that hard to set that up. Either way, yeah, so this fight is actually really simple. You just attack the obvious weak spot, as you can see right there, and when his eyes turn red, they become the weak spot. So you just go ahead and again, use your dragon boost thing, because that's like the most effective way. I really don't like the way this game does slow motion. It clearly just plays the game at a slower frame rate, and it just looks kind of weird. It's obviously still, it's not even, no, it looks like it runs at less than slowed down 60, because the game runs at 60 FPS, right? So naturally, if you cut that to half speed, it shouldn't look too bad, because it should still be 30 FPS at a, you know, lower rate, and that should be fine. But no, it looks like it runs at fucking 15 FPS when that happens, and I don't know, it's just an odd choice. Maybe it's just a limitation of, oh, is he dead? I literally missed him. Oh no, he's not dead, okay. Maybe it's a limitation of the engine, I'm not sure. Regardless of how it works, it's still, you know, just a subtle effect, doesn't really matter. But what does matter is this fight, and wow, I'm so glad I picked casual, because to be fair, this fight is easy. I didn't even die my first time while doing this fight, you know? Although some of the later fights above bottomless pits and stuff, they can get a little bit shitty. Well, it's not like totally above a bottomless pit, but you can get blown off. And okay, the game does this really dick move where there's this one part where you're on like a giant battleship, and the game sends you flying forward, and yet if you keep going forward, you fucking die, you fall off and die. Even though you feel like the level design is like leading up to that moment. Whatever, it's just the way that I think we're done with the stage. Yeah, alright, cool. So that was Freedom Planet Part 1. I'll see you guys in Part 2. We'll be tackling the next stage.